I love reading. I read about 70 books every year. And while I would love to read books about badminton, there's not a lot. So what I do read is books about sports and sports psychology, especially. Because the mental game of sports is really a hard part that books can help with a lot. So today I want to tell you about the book that every badminton player should read. Hey guys, I'm Badminton Becky. If this is your first time here, I'm an American living and playing badminton in China. Please consider hitting the subscribe button and follow me as I talk about all things badminton and I try to improve myself to be a top player in my city. Okay, so what is the book that every badminton player should read? The Inner Game of Tennis. Now I know what you're thinking if you haven't heard about this book. Boo, tennis. Meh. But don't let that throw you off because it's actually not really about tennis. It's more about the inner game, the mental game. The basic premise of this book is when you talk to yourself when you're playing sports. When you're playing and you're like, keep your racket up, Becky, keep your racket up. Or, oh, Becky, you're so slow. Becky, you need to work on footwork. So who are you talking to when you say things like that? You're talking to yourself. So who is I and who is myself? That's what he asks in this book. And he says, self one is the one who's criticizing. Self one is the thinker and the judger. Self two is the doer. And the doer is the one that's doing it wrong. And the thinker is the one that is criticizing the doer. Now, I'll be honest, I actually don't have a hard time with this idea. Because I play badminton in China, there is like two Beckys. You know me as Badminton Becky, but everybody I play badminton with knows me as Xiaobing. I do have two personalities, like Xiaobing plays badminton. Xiaobing is a little cute and speaks kind of slowly and is a little funny. Becky is a teacher. Becky speaks perfect English. Becky's like a smart adult. Xiaobing, you have to help a little because she's a foreigner. I already have two personalities in my daily life in China, so I actually got behind this idea really quickly in this book. Some of you, it might like kind of sink in and blow your mind a little bit more, but for me, like I totally get that there's two of me, and I think there's like 10 of me in my brain at least. So the premise of this book, he teaches you how to stop self one, the judging self, and how to let self two just go with it. Because self two is the one, the doer, that can get into the flow, the precious flow that all athletes want to be in. Self two is the one that can improve themselves. Self one is going to get in the way of self two and continually judge and make self two feel bad. So this book is all about how to get self one not just to shut up, but how to get self one to be busy doing something else so that self two can take control of the game. So for instance, he talks about judging yourself and letting go of judgments. The first skill to learn is the art of letting go the human inclination to judge ourselves and our performance as either good or bad. Letting go of the judging process is a basic key to the inner game. Its meaning will emerge as you read the remainder of this chapter. When we unlearn how to be judgmental, it's possible to achieve spontaneous, focused play. So I think this is really important for everyone to learn, that judging ourselves doesn't help us. Judging ourselves makes us feel stupid, it makes us feel inadequate, and it doesn't help us improve. It's not like if you're harder on yourself, you're gonna improve faster. We improve faster when we focus, when we do the work. We don't improve when we sit there going, oh, you're so slow. Oh, your racket always keeps coming down. Oh, everybody's better than you. He also has a really nice analogy in the beginning. When we plant a rose seed in the earth, we notice it is small, but we do not criticize it as rootless and stemless. We treat it as a seed, giving it the water and nourishment required of a seed. When it first shoots up out of the earth, we don't condemn it as immature and underdeveloped, nor do we criticize the buds for not being open when they appear. We stand in wonder at the process taking place and give the plant the care it needs at each stage of its development. The rose is a rose from the time it is a seed to the time it dies. Within it, at all times, it contains its whole potential. It seems to be constantly in the process of change, yet at each state, at each moment, it is perfectly all right as it is. So I think that's really great because obviously he's talking about you. So some of his strategies to get out of your own way include give your thinking brain something else to focus on, such as laser focus on the shuttle and like look at the shuttle, feel the shuttle hitting the racket. Don't think about my elbow needs to be up, my arm needs to be up. That gets in the way of self 2. You have to give self 1 something to focus on, and then self 2 can just start moving itself naturally. He also has a whole segment about how to change your habits and how to do it in a very non-judgmental way. He has these steps. I'll kind of show you. His idea for changing habits is observe existing behavior non-judgmentally. Just notice what you're doing. Don't say if it's good or bad, just notice. Then step 2 is picture your desired outcome. Mental picture of what you want to improve and what you want to look like. And then step 3, let it happen, trust self 2. And then step 4, non-judgmental, calm observation of the results leading to continuing observation and learning. Now, it sounds really easy and it sounds really nice. Of course, it is very hard to not be judgmental about yourself and to just watch yourself and not to berate yourself when you do something that you know is stupid. There's also some really good advice to kind of freak out your opponents. Instead of being mad at your opponents, what you do is you tell your opponent, hey, your serve today is really good. Did you do something new with your serve? And it's a compliment, but then suddenly your opponent is focused on his serve, and self 1, the thinking brain, is like, oh, what am I doing differently? And suddenly their serve is gonna be bad. So it's a really sneaky way to totally sabotage your opponent, and they don't even know. You sound like a nice guy. So that's a genius way to mess somebody up. There is a little bit of tennis in this book, but you can just easily ignore those parts. But most of it is all really just about the mental game and habits and how to get yourself to stop judging yourself. And not just by saying, stop judging yourself, because that's judging yourself for judging yourself. Instead, it's ways to get self 1's focus and attention on something else so that self 2 can come to the front and self 2 can just control the body and your body can do it naturally. So I really recommend this book. I think it's really helpful, not just in badminton, but in life and your other habits as well, because we do judge ourselves all the time about everything. I watch these videos and I judge myself all the time, like, oh, Becky, like, brush your hair. So this is a really good book to help you build your confidence and to get your body more in the flow in everyday life, but especially with badminton. And at least it's in kind of the same range of badminton. At least he's talking about serving and hitting a ball over a net, so you can kind of pretend it's about badminton. I do wish somebody would write a book like this about badminton, but this book is very special. It's very famous. It was written in, I think, 1974, so it is not at all a new book, but this book definitely doesn't get old, and it is definitely the thing that every badminton player should read. What about you? Do you have any books that you like? Do you have any books you'd recommend to me? Have you ever read this book? What do you think about it? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you next time on the court. Okay, bye.